But what's up, everybody? Welcome in. It is time for another episode of Trust the Tape, your favorite NFL draft, but also Dallas Cowboys, but kind of NFL draft, but also Dallas Cowboys kind of podcast. It's your favorite. I know. Hello, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
And that is former Dallas Cowboys scout, man with the Super Bowl ring from the Green Bay Packers, the greatest drafter of all time from his time with the Philadelphia Eagles, great and powerful Bryan Broaddus.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
Jeffrey, good morning.
That's a nice little pullover. Is that a quarter zip? You're doing all right, quarter zip? Or is it a full zip?
Quarter
zip, and you can see he's not raw dogging underneath the quarter zip, which is
no, man. I'm like the Indiana coach, right? My Indiana coach, is he the one that does that? No shirt under the
see, I'm a believer. I'm a believer that you can raw dog under a quarter zip if you're running an errand. Like if you're running from the house to the bank, if you're running to the gas station, if you're doing that. But as a man
zip it all the way up.
Well, yeah. You just zip it up and you hide it. But if you're doing that over the course of an entire day, you're a disgusting person. But if you're just running an errand, it's fine. That's my.
I think our Indiana coach. I think that's where Indiana coach rolls his. We'll see tonight. Watch tonight. Yeah, he might have it. He might have no shirt on underneath his quarter zip.
I want people to know I'm wearing a hat today, but Ken said in the chat, I see Jeff's growing out his hair. I want him to get a mullet. I am still growing out the hair. I had a slight trim yesterday, but I did tell her while trimming, I said, look, I'm growing it. We're going long. I just need you to take out a little volume, clean up the back a little bit. So just don't freak out, anybody. We're still growing it out. Just need everybody to know that. Bryan, I want you to grow your hair out with me, okay?
All right. I did during the pandemic, and I looked like Ben Franklin. So
it was amazing.
It was amazing look.
You had a little bit of Doc Brown going on.
I had a lot of Doc Brown going on at that time, yeah.
Everybody, feel free to get in any Cowboy questions, any draft questions that you may have. Just throw them in the chat over there, and we'll try to take care of you. Bryan, I know you have a little bit of an update with the Cowboys defensive coordinator stuff. I want to talk a little bit about the game last night as well.
Go ahead.
The Miami-Ole Miss game, and we're going to do all those things, and then whatever else you guys want from us, we're going to handle all that, okay? So what do you want to do? You want to do DC first, or you want me to hit you with a question from last night's game first?
Hit me with a question from last night's game. Fresh in my mind.
Am I a coward, Bryan?
Sure.
Are you allowed to be indecisive about how you feel about players, or are you supposed to just lock in and never change?
No, you can change. You can change. I know Aisha Morrison and I and Zach Wolchuk on on our show, the Stack yesterday. Aisha brought up something very interesting where she felt like that Mauanoa, the right tackle from Miami, appeared to be more of a guard type to her than a tackle. And so, with the body type and stuff, and kind of watching him play last night, I was really kind of convinced that he had the athletic ability and footwork to play potentially as a left tackle. But if you just, watching him, and I just kind of, my eyes just went to that right tackle spot because I was curious, like, okay, I'm going to see if she's right about this. Her and Zach were pretty adamant about that. And I could see exactly what they're talking about. If you watch some of the other games, you do see the athletic ability. I could see with the body type too. So that would be my, listen, drafting, you got to keep an open mind about drafting. You can't sit there and, I've worked with scouts before that sat in a room and just sat there and just would not get off a point, no matter what you said, no matter what great points you made or bad points were. They just would not get off that. So I think you have to be very open-minded. If somebody has an observation that is contrary to what you're thinking, I think you have to, as long as somebody's doing the work, I never have a problem with that. But yeah, you could absolutely have flexibility in your evaluations.
Okay, so watching this is of course last night the something.
You're talking about these edges, aren't you?
The something bowl. I don't ever remember which bowl we're playing. Congratulations to Miami.
It's like Vizio. Is this Vizio or?
I think it was the Verbo something bowl, but I forget which bowl we're playing. But last night
it's the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes, of course. The Fiesta. I think of it as Tostitos then. I think of it as the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
I go way back in the day with this bowl game. Yeah. When
just
it was like the Fiesta Bowl.
If you live in Dallas, I consider wherever you're going to watch a concert down in Fair Park, Smirnoff. But it's also Jexa and it's Dos Equis.
Been Dos Equis, yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called today, and it doesn't even matter. Okay, so my question from last night's game is I'm watching and I'm waiting for my guy. I'm waiting for my guy Ruben Bain to just start smashing people and destroying people. And if you're watching exclusively him, there were plenty of reps where you go, yeah, there's the good stuff.
Sure.
Dominate the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm sitting there and I'm debating. David Bailey might be edge one. Just from watching one football game, am I about to move Ruben Bain down a spot? Because this is going to be, to me, another one of these years where if you are looking for the dominant offensive tackle prospect, I don't see him. If you're looking for the dominant pass rushing D tackle prospect, I don't see him. I could see Clemson's Peter Woods becoming that in the NFL. I could see it. If you're looking for the edge prospect who's just a kick-ass NFL prospect, I don't necessarily see it. I like Ruben Bain a lot, but you do recognize that if he had the body type everyone talks about and he were a little taller and a little longer, then he may be able to make a more consistent impact. So any moment that he's not absolutely dominant, suddenly I'm questioning myself. I'm like, man, you're telling people this guy's going to kick ass in the NFL. And I'm like, but is he? Like, the power's absolutely there. The way he uses his hands is there. The way he uses, you can say he doesn't have length. People aren't getting extended on Ruben Bain all that often. But the fact he didn't dominate that game I'm just sitting here going, damn it, who are the top 5 to 10 players in this draft?
Competition getting better in these playoff games, you know.
He dominated A&M. He kicked their butt.
He did, and he did a great job against Ohio State. You know,
yeah, he kicked their butt.
Both of them. You know, they really. I'll tell you what happened last night. Ole Miss is really, really good in their quick game. Yeah, they don't mess around with their quick game, and you saw it really on full display. They knew going into that game. Early in that game, they did have some problems with some pass protection. You know, the quarterback was on the run, you know, a little bit in that game, and so I think that, to me, it's, you know, I'm interested to see when you went and watched Bain play.
Yeah.
Can you give me the games you saw? I know I'm asking you to look something up.
No, that's not a problem. You know, when it's trusted tape time, I have my notes open.
Okay. If you just give me the games you watched him play, I'll kind of give you an understanding of what I think.
Where's the third one? I wrote Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and there's a third one, but I didn't write down the third one.
Did you watch him? Did you watch him play Utah?
Yes. Utah, because I always.
I'm talking about Bailey. I'm talking about Bailey.
Oh, yeah. Bailey, I absolutely watched against Utah. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm sorry. Bain was not a Utah game. I mean, I'm sorry. I was curious because
I always try to find the best offensive lines. So Bailey,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's some things you could watch him play against Bailey, play against Utah, play against BYU with some bigger offensive linemen and stuff that give you a little bit of some pause about him as a player. I think all these players, I think, to me, I think really what hampered Miami's pass rush last night was that quick game. I don't think they were interested in letting Miami tee off on them, you know, drop back and hold the ball and all that. I mean, you know, the skill level at Ole Miss did a really good job. And, you know, and what happened too in that football game, as you know, because you watched it, Miami started losing secondary players. They started losing their corners. They lost their safeties. There was some problems for them in the second. I mean, they finished that game with like freshmen playing, you know, and they almost at the very end. Yeah, you're going to have that. They never call pass interference on a Hail Mary play. They just never do. It's every man for himself. Jungle rules, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I still think that Bain is the best pass rusher in the draft. I feel like that Bailey, you know, his teammate at Miami, I think, is up there. I really do like Howell. Yeah, I mean, there's some guys that can absolutely get after it when it comes to rushing the pass. So the guys I have the most questions about are the guys like, you know, with Falk and our guy at Tennessee. I think are the guys that are, you know, are Clemson that I kind of have. Clemson, I'm sorry, that I have more of the questions about them than I do the top guys.
Okay, and then I'm going to parlay that into a different question that I'm going to write down for myself, because I'll forget it otherwise because I'm an ADHD kid. But I want to knock through our super chats as well. So Mac is in the super chat. He said, "Morning, fellas. Any chance y'all will get around to watching Gabe Blair, O-line UNT, as a UNT grad? Would like to know his prospects. Thanks." If I don't see him as an NFL prospect on someone's list, probably not. So somebody would have to tell me this is a potential NFL player, or he'd have to be a Senior Bowl guy, or he'd have to be a combine invite, and then I would watch
East
him.
West, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as his name pops up somewhere in the draft circuit, then try. But if not, then no. So I don't know right now. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Gabe's fine work, but I hope the best. Brian, how do you get into scouting for a team? From Dan? I guess Dan wants to go scouting.
Yeah, it's not easy nowadays. You have to be able to have some type of connection with somebody within, because these jobs, when they open, they close just as quickly. I was very fortunate. I was in college recruiting. I was in NFL Europe, so I had a little bit of a background of scouting. I worked for a man who had a connection with Ron Wolf with the Packers, who'd worked with him at the Raiders. And he told me, he says, when the first opportunity for me to get you a job, I'm going to get you a job. And he did. Chet Franklin got me a job with the Green Bay Packers. And it wasn't really anything. I was very happy working at the World League. I was, seeing the world and evaluating players, but the opportunity to go with the Packers was just, really at the time, 27 years old was really, a great thing for me. But it's, you can go to, they have these scouting schools and stuff now. I know I've seen various of them online. I don't know which one is the best one, or which one is which one you get the most out of. Is there one that puts people in? But this is a very, very, very difficult thing to do unless you have a connection to get in. It's not just. I know John Snyder, who's a general manager with the Seahawks, who was my intern at Green Bay. He badgered Ron Wolf, the general manager, with letter after letter after letter. And he says, Ron finally came to me and said, "Hey, do you have anything this guy can do?" And I said, "Sure." And so we worked together for a summer, and then he came back and got a full-time job. But it's not an easy thing to do. And I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean to be that kind of person and like try and kill dreams and stuff. But unless you have a contact, or unless you're willing to badger somebody just throughout the day, then it's a very, very difficult profession to get into.
So basically, like everything else in the world, you better know somebody, and to know somebody.
You have to. Somebody has to have an understanding. I always say this: you have to have a sponsor in life. You have to have a sponsor, and sponsors make all the difference in the world. They really do. They're the ability to sell people on, what you can do. Hey, I've got this guy, I've got this gal that they're really, really good at doing this. And then, you get the opportunity. I am one of those guys that's really not totally into recommending people unless I know them, because I don't want somebody to show up and then all of a sudden that they do a poor job, and that's a reflection on me.
Yep,
and that's happened to me before. And that's, I'm very, very mindful of that going forward.
Williams in Super Chat, he said, "What impact does the NIL and the transfer portal have on evaluations, if any?" I think the transfer portal is absolutely awesome, because if you're a guy that is really good at, let's say, Western Kentucky, I can watch that tape. And if you don't have a game against a Power 5 conference and you don't kick somebody's butt in that way, then I'm like, damn, I hope he goes to the Senior Bowl, because it's hard if you don't get to watch guys play against guys who might go to the NFL. It's hard to guess how does that translate if you're playing better players. So nowadays, that player the very next year is going to show up in the SEC or in the Big Ten. You're just going to, because they're going to find the guys, and then you'll get tape against better teams, against better players. I love the portal, especially because I don't have a vested interest in any FBS team, or maybe Abilene is FBS.
Power 4, Power 5s.
Yeah. I don't have a vested interest, so I enjoy the Wild West. I love it. Get all the best players, and if you're not getting playing time at Alabama, but you might be really good, screw it. Go down to Missouri. If you're really good and you're at Dartmouth, swing on over to Tennessee. Like, I love it.
4,500 players in the portal this year.
Let's go.
And so I never want the players not to be paid. Matter of fact, I come from a family that used to pay players in the 70s when it was not. No, Eric Dickerson and stuff, we gave him a Trans Am. to go to A&M. The Southwest Conference was, you talk about the Wild West. That was some fun. SMU, go look up there what they did. I admire the scheme that they had paying kids.
Yeah.
I think the unfortunate thing is nowadays we see what's happening at the University of Washington with the quarterback situation, where I believe the young man's name is Williams, who signed a $4 million deal with the University of Washington, then tried to jump back into the portal. And I think my alma mater, LSU, was involved in trying some shenanigans to get him to leave. Here's where that's the problem I have.
Fun.
I also have a problem. This is just a personal problem with me. I think it's unfortunate, and this is where there's some really, really good evaluators. And our one of our listeners there mentioned North Texas. I think they do a great job of hiring coaches. I think they do a great job of getting kids. But you look what happened. They lose their coach, and then they lose half their team.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing. But there are programs that are really, really good at hiring coaches and really good at evaluating talent. But they are now just becoming feeder systems to the teams that have money. And, as an alum at North Texas, you could be super proud of the run your team made last year, where you almost made it in the playoffs. You were just right there. You needed a win and you just couldn't get it done. But what's the reward? You get your team completely picked over and you lose your coach. And so now you have to start over again. And that's the hard thing for alum to have to deal with. And alum could say, they would say, well, pay more money, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin Turner, Zach Wolchuk.
I mean,
dig in your pockets.
No, I mean, I go to a school that's, I'm embarrassed to say this. I go to a school that spent $30 million for 7 wins last year. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And now we have to pay a coach off $50 million and pay another one $90 million to come coach.
Yep.
When's it going to stop? When's that going to stop? And I don't have a problem with giving kids NIL money. I have a problem giving money to a school that has to pay their coach off every 4 years. That's the problem I have. Get the damn thing right. But no problem with the kids getting paid. None. But I think there need to be contracts. I do. I think if you tell me, if you sign a 1-year deal, I'm with you for a year. Now I know, as a football ops guy, as a general manager of one of these teams, as I plan, okay, I know I have him for 1 year. And then he's going to go away. I can plan. Maybe there's a 3-year contract, a 1-year contract, a 3-year contract. If you agree to the 3-year contract, it's a binding contract. I think you should be allowed to transfer once, for free. If you're a multiple transfer guy, for example, our second rusher at Texas Tech.
Is he the 4-school guy? No, is he
4 schools? Four.
I like that.
4. Auburn, USC, Georgia Tech, Texas Tech. Come on, man. All right. That's height.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's having fun. Yeah.
But what you do is you get 1 free transfer, and after every transfer after that, you have to sit out a year. That's what I think.
What if you did it where, like, you go to this one school for 1 year, and technically, I guess they all are 1-year contracts, right? Like,
they're mercenaries. Kid Height is a good player. He is a good player, really good player, probably a 2nd-round player.
Yeah.
4 schools.
Yeah.
He went to Auburn. Not for me. USC a couple years. Not for me. Georgia Tech for a year. Not for me. Texas Tech, they've got a billionaire funder now. Oh, okay.
Now
I see.
Now we're cooking. I think if you wanted to change that, I think whatever NIL money you get when you leave a school, part of the one from next year goes to the school you left. That would be fun. They get.
I think there should be. I absolutely think there should be if North Texas has half their scholarship athletes end up at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State should have to put money in North Texas athletic department.
It's a transfer fee. Isn't that what you do in soccer?
The coach at Grambling asked this. He goes, listen, I know I can't compete with you. I know I can't compete. But if you were to give me money every time I lost one of these guys, then I can maybe start to compete with you a little bit better. That's the part I feel bad. I feel bad for the alum that maybe not every organization has an oil man billionaire guy like they do out in Lubbock. But I will say this, Joey McGuire is an excellent evaluator.
Yeah.
An excellent evaluator. He just spent $5 million on a quarterback, though.
Yeah.
He just spent $5 million. And my alma mater was right in there battling with him, for the same thing. So I'm all for the kids getting paid. I think there needs to be contracts. I think there needs to be one time you can get a free transfer. Other than that, you have to sit out.
Dro knows in the super chat. He said, "Are Nick Harris and I the only people that like Kamari Ramsey, the safety at USC? Also, could Keldrick Falk move inside?"
I'm in the third round myself. I am in the third round, Ramsey. I think he's a cover two. I mean, he plays like he's a cover two safety, and there's things about him. I will question a little bit of some of his speed. There were times when the ball went deep, and then there was times where he's run guys down. You can watch him in the open field, run down Love from Notre Dame. And it's good. It's a really good play on his part, but I just kind of wonder about him. I personally have Ramsey in the third round. I think him and Halsey from LSU. Halsey's a little bit bigger guy. Kind of reminds me a little bit with Roy Butler, who's a Hall of Fame safety. Used to look like body type, bigger guy. 222 pounds, 6 foot. So he's got a little thickness to him and stuff, but more kind of a guy they play as a free, but really kind of more of a strong. But Ramsey's kind of a guy that he tackles well. But yeah, I don't see him. I have some questions. I talk about him running down Love, but there's some other times you watch him play and you see a little bit slow reacting there.
And he asked about Keldrick Falk too, who's the Auburn edge player.
That's my problem guy this year, man. That's my
Brian's
6'6"
guy.
That's my 6'6", 285 guy, and I'm trying to think. Last year's tape they say is better than this year's tape, and I'm trying to get through this year's tape, and go back and watch him play in 24, and he looks like a Bill Parcells guy to me, and I say this in respect. He's 6'6", 285. He looks like a 5 technique, almost like a Chris Canty back in the day. That kind of build. And I personally, for the Cowboys, if you're looking for a guy to play the run and have some pass rush, this Falk is your type of guy.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys have got those guys. Give me somebody that is winning off the jump, like those Miami kids winning off the jump. Give me Howell at Texas A&M winning off the jump. That's what, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you got guys that could play. You bring back Canty, you bring back Clowney, and Donovan Ezeraku. You've got guys that can play. You don't have a runner. You don't have that guy. And so that's kind of where I'm at with, if you're a Cowboy fan, great. You need the runner, but everybody else, Falk's probably fits somebody's eye pretty good.
Let's see here. Hood W. Cush. Oh, we're token is what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "What are your thoughts on Anto Saka?" Now, Brian, I'll tell you that it doesn't matter what your thoughts are on him because he's not going to be in the NFL draft. That's the guy that's transferring from Washington to Texas A&M. That's a pass rusher. So I just say congratulations to you Aggie fans. That's what I would say.
Glad you knew that one. There you go.
Adams in the super chat, he said, "If the defensive ends are gone, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and Mansour Delane are the best 3 available." That's Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State; Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State; Delane, Mansour Delane, LSU corner. Who do the Cowboys pick? Is there a DC the Cowboys could hire that would change your pick based on scheme?
Well, you got to know. You got to know what that scheme's going to be. And there's some questions. Like I said, we're going to get into this Durante Jones, who I know about from Minnesota or from the Vikings. But yeah, if I had to power rank those 3 players,
Downs,
I would go Downs, Delane, Styles is what I would do. And I know you like.
I'd be close for me.
Yeah, I really do like Delane, and I know it's an LSU thing. He's a transfer from Virginia Tech. Just watch him play. He is really good. He is really good. And you know what? There might be a possibility that a lot of teams take him over McCoy from Tennessee because McCoy is coming off it's been a year now with the knee surgery with McCoy, and people might be a little. You could watch Delane play this year.
Yeah.
But I think all 3 of those players are really, really good. I think that Downs is the best of the 3, and I would stack them that way. But if you got any one of those 3 players, your defense is immediately helped.
Kerry Matthews always has weird questions. Bryan, what's your stance on Bo Nix? Would you have drafted him? Got a Bo Nix question for you.
You know what? I had Sean Payton tell me I was an idiot. I did.
You didn't like Bo?
Sean Payton asked me before Bo Nix was drafted. He goes, "What do you think about Bo Nix?" And I'm like, "Coach, I have this thought of Bo Nix when he was at Auburn, and now I have a thought of Bo Nix when he was at Oregon, and I think he's really done a nice job." And Sean's like, "Well, what do you have? And you have him in the first round?" I said, "No, I don't." Sean goes, "You're an idiot." And I go, "Oh, okay." And then, he kind of hung up the phone.
Coach?
No, it kind of reminds me of the guy you work with, Clarence Hill. Clarence will ask you your opinion and then fight you on your opinion is what he'll do.
Even if he agrees with it, he'll pretend.
Yeah, he'll just fight you with. But Bo Nix, I'll tell you what, Bo Nix, I'll tell you the one that's kind of proved me a little bit wrong, and I was on a good run with these quarterbacks is Drake May. I'm a little bit wrong about Drake May with there in New England and what he did. I guess I had thoughts of the Mitch Trubisky and 1-year starter kind of thing. I know Drake May played more games and stuff like that, but I just kind of I didn't see. I think Drake May took a lot of heat because at North Carolina expectations were so high, and a lot of people blamed him for the poor games they had. I think his senior year he had only beaten one top 25 team, and that was Miami. And so I had a problem with Drake May. I wasn't as high on as people. He's playing really well. Him and Bo Nix both are playing well.
Roman Wolf Gaming is in the super chat. He said Avion Terrell is better than Mansour Delane in my opinion. I'm not going to fight people on this too bad. I mean, the Cowboys spent a lot of time talking about, or Jerry spent a lot of time talking about the nickel because he doesn't know Jordan Lewis's name and how they didn't replace the nickel. And I tell you, with that second first round pick, if you took get AJ Terrell.
His brother's AJ. His brother's AJ with Atlanta.
I know, and that's why I know how to say his last name. If I say it, it's AJ Terrell. So if you took Terrell with your second first round pick, I wouldn't mind it at all. Like, I don't think his tape is perfect, but I think the way that the combination of skills is super good. Like, I don't think there's an easier, more instant mover than him in this class.
180 pounds.
From full speed this way to full speed that way. It's just like, it's fine. My body can just go. Like, the way he moves is awesome.
We have a little bit of some problems with these smaller corners when it comes to weight wise. Delane a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger guy. But I have Delane above. But if you looked at it, matter of fact, the guy I have in between is Cisse from South Carolina.
Yeah.
So I would go Delane, Cisse, and then Terrell. Terrell is my last first round corner. I don't have Hood from Tennessee in the first round.
Mac is in the super chat. He said, second super chat. Preach, Bryan. We lost our head coach and all our starters. Super proud of our run, but takes the fun out of it when you get gutted. And that does suck. RIP to UNT.
No. I mean, but you know what's great about UNT? They have an athletic director that knows how to hire coaches, and somebody will come in there and hopefully they get the personnel right again. May those people keep those people in place. Those are the most valuable people, because as those types of programs, you're going to get gutted. You're going to absolutely get gutted. And the money's too good for the kids. It's way too good for the kids. Pete Golding.
Oh, go ahead.
Pete Golding, the coach at Mississippi I think it was a couple of days ago, they were talking about how he lives in a community like there in Oxford, like a golfing community. He says it's cool. I got players as my neighbors.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. Team trade back or stand and deliver? You know me, I'm Captain Trade Down. We love trading down. Look, I got a pick on day 2 somewhere. I need to. One of these picks will be a trade down. That's my prediction. Yeah. And Ricky said, "Do either of you have Mason Thomas as a first round pass rusher?" He's my next
second round. Yeah, second round guy. That's an interesting cat. Yeah, 240, 6'2", 249, I think is. But you watch him against really good competition, he gets after it. Yeah. And so I would be our Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
Man, gets low to the ground, can attack the edge, really good against the run, plays well up the field, can redirect, can get back on a play, can run from the backside, doesn't get fooled a lot, man. This cat His body type is a lot like what you're going to see with like not 270 with Bane, that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things that doesn't look like a traditional end. It
Yeah.
looks like a guy, but he absolutely gets after the passer.
All right, Bryan, 30 to 60 seconds on what you know about the potential Cowboys.
Yeah, Durante Jones. Am I with you, Jeff? Did I lose you there? You back with me? You good?
Oh, sorry, my computer did a little laggy lag. Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Durante Jones, Minnesota. This is what I know. I don't know anything about Ephraim Banda, the other one they're interviewing, but I do know about Jones a little bit. And so this is what I learned about him. He learned a lot from Brian Flores as a coach. He really wants fast cornerbacks over everything. So if he gets the opportunity, he's going to want guys with speed over everything. I heard he's really, really good to work with personnel. That's something that's going to be really important. It's kind of a trait that Dan Quinn had. Him and Will McClay worked very, very well together. He did get some interviews last year as a coordinator. If this guy knew him and Joe Witt pretty well, he thinks that Witt has more edge to him and more of a presence about him as a coach. Don't know what scheme this guy might run. I mean, you think that maybe it would be something that Minnesota did. He was a coordinator at LSU. He was a little bit over his head there, was relieved of his duty. But does he know the front seven? How is he going to adapt to that? There's people in the league that think he's on the track to be a coordinator, but might not be ready to be a coordinator yet.
Looky there. We like that. Use pick 12 and trade 19. What can we get from Roman Wolf Gaming? I'd have to look up the chart, but if you go from 19 down to lower in round 1, I believe what you get back is probably a 3. And if if somebody really wants something, maybe you get something a little better. Maybe you make give you a 2 and you throw them back a 5 next year. You have a little fun when you're trading back. Bryan, thank you for another episode of Is It the Hot Dog or Is It the Bun?
Now this is a hot dog bun. I think it's a hot dog too.
Have a great day, everybody. Follow Crown Global Media both on YouTube and on Twitter. On Twitter, there is no O. It's CRWN Global Media. Make sure you follow both those things. We squared away?
We're squared. Thank you, brother.
Have yourself a day, Bryan. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.